In today's disgusting but totally unsurprising news, Donald Trump allegedly referred to MSNBC reporter Katy Tur's transgender mom as a bitch with a tranny dad. Those are the president's alleged words, so I'm allowed to say them. This is from a new book called Sinking in the Swamp by Lachlan Markey and Asawin Subseng. Katy Tur is the daughter of Zoe Tur. You might remember Zoe Tur from the O.J. Simpson low-speed helicopter car chase in that white Bronco in 1994, if you were around then. Zoe Tur doesn't like Trump, and Zoe Tur is a trans woman. And the book alleges that Donald Trump makes horrible comments about women all the time. He called Meghan McCain, the daughter of the late Senator John McCain, dumber than her father, pointed out that she's been getting fatter after she said things on The View that Trump didn't like. This actually started with Trump getting into it with Katy Tur herself when he was running for president, writing off her questions, sometimes during interviews when he didn't want to answer one of her questions. He would say, "Oh, give me a break. Next question, Katy." Very, very condescending. He started calling her little Katy, started calling her a third-rate journalist, all of that stuff. And once when she tried to follow up a question with Trump, he simply said, "Be quiet." Then, of course, we get to these latest allegations that Trump referred to Katy Tur privately as, again, a bitch with a tranny dad, referring to Katy Tur's transgender mom. This is the president. Now, he will have defenders no matter what he says, and lots of people probably agree with him. There's a lot of people in this country, I don't know if it's, 15%, 17%, that are extremely anti-trans. And while they probably would never be willing to say what Donald Trump is accused of saying, they aren't going to get too upset about hearing that Donald Trump said it. That's one group. There's also people who don't necessarily even agree with Trump attacking trans people, but they do generally want things to sort of go back to the way they imagine things were in the 1950s. And they see treating trans people respectfully as something that's not quite in line with their 1950s ideal. So they're not really going to get bent out of shape about attacking trans people, but they're not going to go and do it themselves. And then, of course, remember, First Lady Melania Trump's big initiative was going to be ending bullying, fighting bullying. And her husband is one of the biggest bullies of all sorts of different groups of people based on their identity that we know of. I wish it weren't the case, but too many people either like comments like these or they're just indifferent as long as Trump won't let Mexicans in the country, right? Or whatever their priority is. It's one of those areas where we just need to change the dialogue completely. A different president could do that. We talk about lots of the things that would take a long time to change. And Trump didn't create racism. Trump didn't create xenophobia or anti-trans bias or anti-Semitism. But when he says things like this, when he doesn't do anything about the coalescing and growing extremist movements, he makes the people who are into those ideologies emboldened and more comfortable publicly displaying their beliefs. If Trump leaves the White House in a year, that's not going to change the views of these extremists, but it might put them back at least in a little bit of a more hidden position in society where they might think twice about going public with these views. And then over time, hopefully those views will continue to dissipate or age out, as we like to say. We can hope. Imagine being Katy Tur and finding out that the president referred to a parent of yours in this way. It's almost inconceivable, or at least it would have been in 2015, but this is 2020 United States, and this story barely makes headlines in the midst of everything else that's going on. Really, really shocking stuff. Do you feel like you just don't have enough time to become as intellectually well-rounded as you would like to be, that there are just not enough hours in your week for you to read all of the books that you want to read? One of our sponsors is called Blinkist, and it's an app that lets you consume an entire nonfiction book in 15 minutes. It's only about $8 a month, but you can try it for free for a week and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. What Blinkist does is take thousands of popular nonfiction books and condense them into either text or audio that you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. And what you get is all of the most important ideas and information from the book. Imagine being able to listen to an entire nonfiction book in the amount of time it takes you to drive or walk home from work. I just finished listening to Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow. Super interesting book, probably already familiar to some in my audience, and a really interesting take at how Harvey Weinstein and his alleged transgressions were brought to light. Excellent investigative piece. Blinkist has totally transformed how I consume information. I love it. Of course, I read a book in its entirety when I can, but there are simply just so many books that I want to read and would not have the time for if it weren't for Blinkist. They have books on politics, economics, philosophy, science, you name it. You can try it out yourself, totally free for a week, and get 25% off if you decide to subscribe just by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video. Like the rest of us, I bet you're going into 2020 thinking about what you didn't get around to in 2019 and your goals for the new year. If you want to work towards being your best self in 2020, understand more about the world around you, and make sure that your time is well spent, then Blinkist is for you.